Dr. Vrilock here. You have been waiting for a kit that will change your life. And I'm here to tell you the good news. I have such a kit that will change your life. We're talking about the Necromancer Elite Dowsing Kit. This was designed to make you douse like a pro. And I'm going to show you all about it. So you get this dowsing chart. You get the Sonic Necromancer paperback. And you get yourself a lovely pendulum with 3 powerful glyphs engraved personally by Dr. Vrilock. I'm going to show you these items one at a time, and I'm going to show you how to use them to change your life for the better. So let's get cracking. Okay, so as I've said, I'm going to show you the kit that will change your life, because dowsing does change your life. But you need the most effective and convenient, easy, and fun dowsing experience. And so I've prepared the Necromancer Elite Dowsing Kit just for you. So you get a copy of Sonic Necromancer with all the knowledge you need to know about controlling the chthonic forces to empower your dowsing and other pursuits. You do so also acquire the Vrilock pendulum with the collective emblem of Sonic power of Vrilock, the rune for answers, and the glyph for revelation. But that's not all. This pendulum is shaped like a Russian pyramid, which is more effective than an ordinary pendulum. And yes, you do get this nifty little bag. Now let's have a look at the real juicy component to this kit. The Necromancer Elite Dowsing Kit, a collector's edition. And it is a collector's edition because it is indeed a work of art. It is a work of art. Now it's hardcover, and it has a limit of pages. We originally were going to make this book very, very thick. We decided to go ahead and just use the best charts with the best instructions for the purpose of being able to douse effectively when you open this book. So when you open this book, each chart will be flat and easy to douse on. It's not going to be like a thicker book when you open it and it's hard to keep the page flat. This opens flat and flush. So when you open it, of course, if you don't have your pendulum right underneath the other side of the cover, it opens just flat. There you go. Okay, so it opens flat. Let's just say that we want to know something about, well, there are many charts to choose from, and we want to know something about this sigil here. It could be a sigil, could be a person, a place, a concept, an idea, whatever it is. Here's my witness sample. I'm going to work with Balaam. And Balaam is the great spirit for precognition, clairvoyance, and knowledge. Particularly knowledge gained through the aforementioned siddhis that I have just mentioned, siddhis being powers. So precognitive and clairvoyant knowledge. All right, so I want to access information from this entity. First thing I'm going to want to do is go ahead and attune myself. So charts are all flat, as you can see on the right hand side of the page. The instructions that you need, if you're a beginner, tells you everything you need to know about your amplifying pattern. So if you don't want to crank out your radionic box or candles or whatever, just use this amplifying pattern. Place your sigil here. I'm going to tune myself in to this sigil. Balaam, assist me in dowsing and divination. Reveal to me the future of what I ask. And it is done. Now I can go further by holding my pendulum. I'll show you the correct way to hold it right now.
you're going to place some of the chain here and then hold it here and pinch. Okay. Try to get the pendulum steady. I know it can, as the chain's unraveling, you got to get right there. Then I'm going to ask the pendulum to tune itself to the pattern, which it should begin swinging in a clockwise motion soon. And it is. Okay, and so my pendulum will gradually swing in wider arcs as the power is from the sigil is attuned to the pendulum. Next, if I want to know something more specific, I'm going to go ahead and use the alpha chart and ask a question from the sigil. So I might ask a simple question such as, if the sigil has knowledge of it, it's slightly hard to do this while holding a phone. Here we go. What is the most valuable currency on Earth? What is the most valuable currency on Earth? Okay, so it's saying KUWD. I'm going to say that I think that that's the Kuwaiti dinar. Let me go ahead and find the pattern for asking if that currency is true. Okay, so let's use the affirmation chart. Just place them up here to have them in sight subconsciously. I'm going to ask the question. Pendulum. Is the Kuwaiti dinar the most valuable currency on Earth? Is the Kuwaiti dinar the strongest currency? See how the answers slightly change a little bit when you ask the question differently. So is it the most valuable currency is the Kuwaiti dinar? It's going back to yes and trying to work itself back into the affirmation. And we have a yes there. So we know that that's the answer to that question. Of course, when you're working with these sigils, you might want to ask questions that are more in particular to things you want to know about. For example, if you want to know if somebody is telling a narrative for a particular reason out of logic, they planned it, emotion because they believe in it, or cultish, emotion meaning an impulse, and cultish meaning that they've been indoctrinated. So you can ask these types of questions as well. Now, when you really want to get into understanding the various abilities of the mind, you can work with a pattern like Balaam and this jewel chart. And we can, this is of course the occipital lobes here, and then we have the prefrontal and frontal lobes. You can place this sigil over those lobes and work with it, asking it to emphasize some psychic ability. Or we can work with pairs, like this one, and this one, or here, here, and here. I know if you don't understand brain science, it's a little difficult, but it means essentially concentration ability would be these three squares. So you could basically put a crystal on each one of those and meditate and emphasize increased focus concentration. Or you can apply the sigil. Or you can, like I was saying before, tune into the amplifying pattern, then come to this chart and ask your pendulum to point out a particular region in the brain of whomever the subject is, where there is either a difficulty or strength, or where you might improve something, or an area of influence. So that's another wonderful chart. But the practical point of working with these charts is that you get the basics of the sonic magic art, which is spell out answers. Know if an idea is a good or bad one. You have good, evil, neutral. And these patterns that I created here protect you from the answers that you get from whatever source. You have the witness. You have the various types of shielding of a witness, and then the power level of that shielding. You can also ignore this chart and douse the effectiveness of a thought form. But if you really want to do that, a better chart is this one. It's called hot-cold chart. And you can get a very good percentage reading here of what a thought form is. So let's just say if you had a parasite thought form, and if it's below 30, it's not too effective. If it's above 30, it's something that you might be concerned about. And this chart will tell you. Also, this chart can be used to help you tune dials on your radionic box. So if you want to just reach over to the left, put your radionic box on this side, just adjust the first dial, you could ask, well, instead of adjusting it, just give me the range. So if the range is, let's say you land on 44 on this chart, you could then reach over to your machine and turn the dial to 44 if it's calibrated 0 to 100. If it's calibrated 0 to 10, then you would adjust it to 4.4. And that would be the first dial reading. And this is actually a very fast way of tuning a box rather than rubbing the stick pad and turning the dial very slowly. This is a great way to take rates very quickly. And then, of course, you have the affirmation chart, which tells you simple yes and no answers to questions, and much more. Of course, you also get at the back of this beautiful collector's edition book, there's a section for your notes. You get these wonderful comics, and these comics they're significant, not only enjoyable, but you also get a history about the comic. Nice helmet, who are you? And it tells you about who these characters are, and they are based on real people. So it's all wonderful, good fun, a great collector's book. You'll enjoy it. And let's go ahead and take a look at the book fully opened from cover to cover real quick here. And just have a look at that. That is your Necromancer Elite chart book by Vrilock. And then, of course, as I said, you get the pendulum. You don't get this sigil particularly, but in this book you do get copies of sigils that are in there, including various runes about RPX, radionics, how to build and do some simple dowsing. That's kind of important to know a little bit more about dowsing, I'd say. Various machines that you can build at home very easily. And then, of course, you do also get all the sigils you could possibly want to work with right here. You just have to photocopy and print and cut. And there you have it. Your Necromancer Elite Dowsing Kit that will change your life. Keep the magic high. Never be lied to again. See through deceptions and narratives. And be smart. Your Dr. Vrilock.